Well, it's official. President Trump is now seeking to increase taxes on the wealthy in order to give the middle and lower class more relief. That is good news. Finally, the lower and middle class are going to get some of the relief that he has been promising for so long. Today I'm going to break down what is going on, what was just said, and why this is such a big deal. But keep in mind, this is just President Trump's plan. It still has to go through Congress. That right there could be a little bit tricky, but according to reports, it is something they're working on. So, in just a moment, I'm going to explain exactly what is going on and how this could mean more relief for you very soon. But first, all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. So look what came out just yesterday. It says Trump seeks tax hike on wealthy earning $2.5 million or more. Okay, we're going to discuss this because again, this is very big news. Look at this. It says President Donald Trump is pushing lawmakers to increase tax rates on some of the wealthiest Americans as of a way to offset other cuts in his signature economic package. Again, if we want to keep taxes lower, then we need to make sure that we can pay for it. This is where this is going to offset. We increase taxes for the wealthy, but we keep taxes the same or provide additional relief to those that are not so fortunate. Keep reading this. Look at this. It says the president's proposal calls for creating a new 39.6% tax bracket for individuals earning at least $2.5 million or couples making $5 million. It says the president has made the request in a Wednesday phone call to House Speaker Mike Johnson. He also reiterated his desire to eliminate the carried interest tax break claim by venture capital and private equity fund managers. So again, this is going to provide more for the lower and middle income households. It's going to take away some of the benefits from those that are much wealthier. Let's keep reading though. It says Representative Jason Smith, the chairman of the House Tax Committee, is expected to meet with Trump on Friday and tell him the tax bill will deliver on the president's priorities. It says it remains unclear if the proposal would be accompanied by an expansion of the existing exemption for some small business income paid through the individual code. It says if Congress approves Trump's plan for a 39.6% rate, that would bring the top tax bracket to a level not seen since before Trump's 2017 tax cut. The current rate is 37%. Now, we've been talking about this before, and here's what lawmakers were considering. This is what President Trump was asking for initially, is let's increase the top tax bracket. So people making over like $600,000 a year would still be paying 39.6%. But then what they decided to do was that wasn't enough, because if you're making $750,000 or $1 million a year in some states, that's not technically wealthy. Wealthy is you're making $2.5 or $5 million as a couple. That's what they're saying. Okay. Again, it's a substantial amount of money. $5 million a year is a pretty good chunk of change. So those people will have to pay the 39.6%. At least that's what they're saying. Now, I want to read you a little bit more here. It says, Trump has sent mixed signals on raising taxes on the wealthy. It says he has mused that such a levy could spur rich Americans to relocate to other countries and that it could harm Republicans at the ballot box. Now, it could. Based off of what we're hearing over the past 12, 24 hours, is that yes, this could hurt Republicans come the midterm election. But what's going to hurt Republicans even more is if we actually see taxes go up because they cannot pass the extension of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that was originally passed in 2017. That right there would be a bigger concern. I want to keep reading this. It says, but the proposal comes as lawmakers are struggling to find a way to pay for a multi trillion package that Trump has dubbed the One Big Beautiful Bill to extend his first term tax cuts. Republicans are under increasing pressure to limit the cost of the overall bill because they're struggling to find agreement on cuts to entitlement programs, including Medicaid health coverage for low-income Americans. Now, initially, we could have passed the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act extension, but there's too many deficit hawks in Congress that do not want Trump to deficit spend. They also have realized that the Department of Government Efficiency, which was previously headed by Elon Musk, it failed to save the amount of money that it thought it could. Because again, they thought they could save about $2 trillion. Here's how much they've saved so far. $165 billion as of May 3rd, 2025. So again, 6 days ago. That's part of the issue. They've only saved $165 billion. They need much more in order to do exactly what President Trump wants. But, and this is the big one, we cannot cut Medicaid. We cannot cut Social Security. Okay? We cannot cut benefits for SNAP recipients. What they can do, and they're trying to do, is to include work requirements for SNAP. They're trying to include, eliminate people that are illegal immigrants that are collecting Social Security. That's another big one. And so that's what they're discussing. How can we prevent a cut at the same time still pass the bill that President Trump has promised? Keep in mind, President Trump also promised to eliminate taxes on Social Security benefits, to eliminate taxes on overtime income, and to eliminate taxes on tips. That's what we're hearing. Keep in mind, he's also discussed potentially eliminating federal income taxes on anybody making less than $200,000 per year. So all these things that they're discussing, it's going to be contingent on being able to pay for it. I want to read you another thing though. Look at this right here. It says, creating a new tax rate on millionaires would raise $67.3 billion over 10 years, according to the preliminary estimate provided to Bloomberg. It says the group had previously projected that eliminating tax preferences for carried interest would raise $6.7 billion over a decade. It says raising taxes goes against long-standing Republican orthodoxy. Trump's willingness to propose a tax hike for millionaires demonstrates how much he has remade the GOP in his own populist image. Usually, Republicans don't raise taxes, they cut taxes, because if you are paying taxes, that means you have less money to spend within the economy. You can't spend in businesses, and Republicans are all about building businesses. So essentially, why are we doing this? Well, based off the reports, President Trump knows if we see this Tax Cuts and Jobs Act not get extended and taxes go back up, it's going to hurt so many Americans. It's going to hurt millions and millions of Americans that are likely not going to vote for Republicans in the midterm election come 2026. If this happens, that means President Trump and the Republican Party only have another year and a half left to get their entire agenda done before they potentially get voted out of office, not of the Oval Office, but of the House and the Senate. And now it makes it more difficult because President Trump is going to try to be working with a Democratic House and a Democratic Senate. So again, a lot of stuff is going on right now, but what I can tell you is right now, President Trump and Republicans are really up against the wall. They need to get this done as quickly as possible. According to Speaker Mike Johnson, the goal is to get it done by the 4th of July. Well, it's May 9th, so we got 2 months to get this done. And that right there could be tricky. So we'll see what happens, but the good news as of right now, Trump is planning to raise taxes on those that are making $2.5 million as an individual or $5 million as a couple. That's huge because that means more for the lower and middle income households. So again, as we get more information on this, I promise I'll bring you all the latest news and updates. That is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.